بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, today we are very honored to have Qari Mizanur Rahman addressing us today. Qari Mizanur Rahman is the head Imam of Chingford Masjid and also a teacher of Qira'ah and Tajweed at London Darul Uloom. Sheikh completed his studies at London Darul Uloom, then furthered his studies, became a Hafiz of the Quran, and then advanced Tajweed and Qira'ah at Dewsbury Darul Uloom. So we invite Sheikh Qari Mizanur Rahman to talk to us about the three packages of fasting. Qari Mizan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. I begin with the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most high. May his mercy and his blessings be upon his messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, upon his companions and all those who follow him in righteousness. It's from the great blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from his favors that he gives us opportunity after opportunity to turn back to him, that he gives us chance after chance to turn back to him. We must remind ourselves, not just in Ramadan, but throughout all the favors that we have in our lives, that how many are there that were not fortunate enough to see the day to day, whereby they can reap these blessings that we are able to reap if we decide to do so. So first and foremost, we must acknowledge what we have in front of us. We must acknowledge the month for what it is, the nights for what it is that we have in front of us, and acknowledge that these days and these nights are such that if we were to turn to Allah properly in these nights and in this time that we have, then we can change our lives. If we acknowledge and we recognize the value of what we have in front of us, then we'll do qadr of it. But if we don't acknowledge it, then we won't do qadr of it. The nature of such rewarding days and such rewarding nights, the time of Ramadan that we have with us at the moment, the value of this month is such that the Sahaba would prepare months before. They would prepare months before. It wouldn't be that their life would be one way, and soon as Ramadan hits, Maghrib time, they would change instantly. No. Their preparation, their prep and planning was months before. Allama ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahmatullahi alayhi has cited a statement of Imam Abu Bakr al-Warraq al-Balkhi rahmatullahi alayhi that the month of Rajab is the month of planting. So he gives the analogy of a seed and reaping the fruits, the crops, reaping the reward from that seed. So he uses Ramadan as an analogy. He uses that as an analogy for Ramadan. And he says what? That Rajab is a month for planting. Right? Rajab is a month for planting the seeds. Sha'ban is a month for irrigating the crops. And Ramadan is the month of harvesting. What he's saying is that the value of this month is such that you cannot possibly take everything from this month by merely working on the day of Ramadan when Ramadan starts. But rather preparation and planning starts well before. You start sowing the seeds of virtues, you start sowing the seeds of worship in the month of Rajab, and thereafter you get into the zone of worship, you get into the zone of staying away from sin, you get into the zone of abstaining from that which you should not be doing, and spending time in the masjid, spending time in tilawah, spending time in salah, so on and so forth. Thereafter, in the month of Sha'ban, you start irrigating the crops. You start taking care of your worship. You start to now you're finessing and you're putting the cherry on the cake and you're cleaning up all your worship and you're trying to sort out your life now. And then now in the month of Ramadan, now you're meant to harvest the crops. Now you're meant to fully reap from the rewards, right? This is the nature of the month, that it requires planning in advance. But thereafter, we must understand that for the people that perhaps did not value the month of Sha'ban and the month of Rajab for that preparation, understand that it's still not too late. Understand that fortunate are those individuals who value even the last 10 nights or the last 10 days. Ibn al-Jawzi rahmatullahi says what? That when the racehorse knows it's at the end of a track, it will exert all its efforts towards the end to win. Why? Because it knows that the true goal is at the end. right? Because إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالْخَوَاتِيمِ, that actions are judged by their conclusions. If a person was to, let's say a person was to not reap the rewards, or a person was to not reap maximum benefits from the days and nights that have already passed the month of Ramadan, but he makes a firm intention now that from now I will definitely work hard, and from now I will definitely pray all my salahs, I will do all my fasts, I will give charity, I'll do tilawah, I'll do X, Y, and Z, and he makes that resolution firmly from now, then rest assured Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one that accepts. Rest assured it will be sufficient. If you were to make that sincere intention now, do tawbah for the past, and work hard from now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that accepts. He's the one that forgives. He's the one that gives opportunities. He's the one that accepts. Now we look at fasting, and we look at Sawm, and we're reminded of just one ayat in the Quran that you'd be probably hearing throughout this month, or perhaps even before this month even started, in the khutbahs they'd be hearing in your local masajid, of the maqsad of this month, of the maqsad of fasting. That why are we fasting? Why are we going through such a exercise of abstaining from food, abstaining from drink? What do we get out of it? What are we earning from it? Two maqsads, right? Two things that we need to learn. Number one, what we're meant to take out of fasting is God consciousness, is taqwa, right? Is God consciousness. And number two, what we're meant to take from fasting is shukr, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says further down, that you're meant to internalize not only God consciousness, that you're aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all forms of your life, in all parts of your life. Not only that, but you are also to internalize gratitude, gratefulness, and acknowledging what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And from acknowledging what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you, if you can acknowledge that, thereafter you'll take advantage and you'll benefit from it. Now, when it comes to fasting, I'll just give you an analogy, and Maulana mentioned it at the beginning, the three packages of fasting, right? And what does this mean, the three packages of fasting? So if you just understand this and just take this in, inshallah, that there are three packages of fasting. And in this month, we know that this is a month of fasting. We know that this is a month that Muslims around the world will be fasting. And what's happened is, for many, it's just become like a season from all other seasons of the year. It's become just a month. It's become just like a January or a December or an August or a July, whereby a person just goes into the month, and the only thing that changes in that month is food. It's just the basic things of fasting. That's it. Nothing else changes in his life, right? So we need to look at the three packages of fasting, and the package that you choose as a believer, as to what package you will take from fasting. Number one, you have a basic package. Number two, you have an advanced package. And number three, you have an elite package. Now, you will receive based on the package that you select and the package that you choose. You will receive, you will reap, and you will take benefit in accordance to the package that you choose, right? The basic package of fasting, which is the bare minimum, beneath which your fast will not be accepted, the bare minimum basic package, is that you stay away from food, drink, and intimacy, right, during the fasting hours. That's the basic package. That's the package that nearly everybody that will be fasting will be taking, or most that are fasting will be taking. That's the basic package, whereby if you do that package and you take that package, your fasting is done, right? But the chances of you actually seeing change beyond the month of Ramadan is very slim, unless you take the advanced or elite. Now, to understand this, you have the basic package, advanced, and elite. You can even look at the other forms of worship. So you have, for example, Salah, right? Now, Salah for many people will perhaps be just a tick box exercise, whereby you just go in there, you pray your 4 rakats, you get your fard done, and you walk out, and it's done, right? Now, what happens is a person's praying. So he's praying for years and years and years, but he's not seeing any changes in his life. The same analogy can be applied to Salah as well, whereby one is that you're just performing Salah just for the sake of it, and you're just ticking off the box for the exercise that you're doing. You're just getting your fard done, so it's out of the way, but you're not reaping the actual benefits from what salah is meant to give you. What is salah meant to give you? As Allah says, "Tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar." That salah is meant to be a deterrent from all forms of immorality, from all forms of sin. Salah is meant to be such. If you take the example of like a phone charger, for example, that you have a phone, and you've charged your phone throughout the night, and now throughout the day you're using your phone, and you're using it heavily for work and X, Y, and Z, for work, for assignments. You're in meetings and calls and emails and X, Y, and Z, and you're using it very heavily. What happens is you then have to plug it back inside the socket to give it the energy back. The phone's then dying. So your phone is dying, and your phone is going to like 10%, 5%, 3%. You put it on flight mode, or you lower the brightness down. The phone is dying. What do you then do? You put it back inside the socket, and you give it that charge, and you give it that boost. Once it has that boost and it has that charge, thereafter it runs for a few more hours. Similarly, the main focus of salah and the maqsad of salah is not just that it's a tick box exercise that you just get it done and you walk off and you walk out, and it has no reflection of how you are after salah and before salah. No, that's not the maqsad. The maqsad of salah is that 5 times a day you are to recharge your body just the way you recharge your phone. So now when your iman is going down, you see the outside world, you're out and about, you're doing your thing. Thereafter, you go back and you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times a day, and you recharge, you rejuvenate your bodies and your souls and your spirits. And what you do is you put yourself on charge. You put yourself on spiritual charge. That's the asal way of praying salah. And then to talk about packages in salah, one is that a person just prays salah and there's no khushu, there's no khudu, he does not understand what he's reciting. There's no tajweed whilst he's reciting as well, reading at bullet speed. There's no he's not pausing properly in his postures, and he's not praying properly, he's just getting it done. That's a very basic package. You won't learn much from that. You won't reap much from that. If you then take from the elite package of prayer, for example, is that you will do wudu properly. You will purify yourself properly. You'll make sure that where you're praying is properly clean and everything like that. Whilst you're praying, you would have spent the time before salah learning. You would be reciting with tajweed. You'd be focusing on what you're reading. You would understand what you're reading. You would have looked up the tafsir and the translation of what you're reading. Then you're concentrating and you're thinking about how it affects you and the changes that it's meant to make in your life. Then you're standing up in prayer and you're sitting down. That's proper salah. That's the type of salah that would really help you. That's the type of salah that would bring about change in your life. So if you understand that, then let's go back to fasting. Basic package of fasting is food, water, food, drink, and intimacy you stay away from in the hours of fasting. You do that, you will receive the reward of fasting for sure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He'll reward you. But would you receive the actual rewards of fasting? And would you reap the actual benefits that Sawm came about for, which is to bring about God consciousness? No. So what's the next package? The next package is the advanced package. The advanced package is that a person, not only does he stay away from food, drink, and intimacy, but a person stays away from food, drink, intimacy, as well as protecting a person's tongue. He doesn't backbite. He doesn't quarrel. He doesn't fight with others. He doesn't spread rumors about others. He doesn't do ghibat, behind the backs of others, or he doesn't call trouble between others, or he's respectful in his speech. All these things of the tongue. Thereafter, a person doesn't listen to music, or a person doesn't listen to haram, or a person doesn't listen to gossip, a person doesn't listen to backbiting, or a person controls his eyes. A person does not watch that which is not halal for him. A person controls his eyesight. That's the advanced package. That above and beyond just the basics of fasting, a person is conscious during the fasting hours of that which he's doing. He's conscious of his 5 senses and how he's using them, how he's utilizing them, and if they're coming and if they're bringing about any sin. That's the advanced package. If you take that advanced package throughout the month of Ramadan, then you will see changes in your life. Then you'll really start to see the rewards of fasting. Then you'll really see that after the month of Ramadan, it will bring about change. That's the advanced package. That should be a bare minimum that we all take. The basic package should not even be on our list. The advanced package we should all take. That it's not just we're staying away from food, we're staying away from drink and intimacy and so on and so forth. That's not it. But for every single Muslim, the advanced package is something they should take, in that a person is staying away from all the sins are involved with the five senses. Then you have the elite package, right? You have the elite package of fasting. The elite package of fasting is such that if you were to take on this package of fasting throughout the entirety of the month, rest assured you will see change after the month of Ramadan. You will definitely see change after the month of Ramadan, because the nature of human beings is that if we do anything consecutively for even 10 days, not even a full month, even for 10 days, if you do something consecutively, you get used to it. It becomes it becomes part of your life almost. It thereafter becomes difficult to move away from. Your sleeping pattern changes, for example, throughout the month of Ramadan. You would have noticed in the first or second week, your sleeping pattern changes. After the day of Eid, you'll notice it will become quite difficult to get back to old routine. If a person can take this elite package on throughout the entire month, beginning of Ramadan till the end of Ramadan, all the way until and including Eid, you take on this elite package, then you will see some change after the month of Ramadan. That's when you see the changes, like the changes of people who come back from Hajj and they completely change their life. And as it comes to hadith, they come back as though a child born, fresh from the womb of his mother, without any sin, without any wrongdoings. What's the elite package of fasting? Number one, from the elite package of fasting is that food, drink, and intimacy is just that's just there. That's basic. That's there. That person stays away from that. Above and beyond that, a person is conscious of how he's using his tongue, how he's using his eyes, how he's using his ears, how he's using his thoughts, how he's thinking. A person is conscious of all of that. As well as fasting from all of that, a person fasts from anger throughout this month. A person fasts from anger. A person throughout the month of Ramadan fasts from lust. Throughout the month of Ramadan, a person fasts from his from pride. A person fasts from his ego. A person fasts if a person, let's say, spending too much time on social media and that's affecting a person and it's wasting the time of an individual, then a person fasts from even social media, right? A person fasts from hatred, right? Fasting from stubbornness, fasting from hypocrisy, fasting from dishonesty, fasting from violence, fasting from abusive language as well, fasting from pride, fasting from envy, fasting from jealousy, right? Fasting from selfishness, fasting from deception, fasting from all forms of the rubbish that we have around us. If a person can fast from all of that, that's when you see true reward. When a person fasts, to conclude, when a person fasts from sin in totality, then not only are you doing what's required, but you're going above and beyond. You are training your body and your soul and your mind to work in such a way for an entire month that becomes your life, and it becomes autopilot after the month of Ramadan. We know that the shayateen are locked throughout this month, but we find we still do sins. Why is that? Because a person becomes so used to it 11 months of the year that if a person is doing something 11 months, then that 1 month he's on autopilot. His system is just running on how it was previously running. It's just running like water now. So in the same exact way, if we can spend the entire month of Ramadan not only staying away from food and drink, not only stay away from language and so on and so forth, but fasting even from the inner diseases that we have, whether it's hypocrisy, whether it's hatred, whether it's envy, whether it's jealousy, whatever it is, whether it's selfishness, whatever it is, whether it's racism. When a person fasts from all of that, he even fasts, let's say, from people, right? He goes into solitude. He spends time more alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gets away from friends. He says, you know what, we'll meet up or we'll link up or we'll spend time after Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan, let's focus on worship. A person fasts from even his friends, perhaps, that are distractions. A person sees, you know what, social media for me, Facebook, Twitter, and so on and so forth, is wasting too much time. Let's go off it for a while. Let me fast even from that. That's fasting as well. That's you abstaining from that which will benefit you, right? I'm sorry, abstaining from that which will not benefit you, in turn, which will benefit you. So let us not restrict fasting to just a fard of it. Let us not just restrict prayers to just merely going there and, you know, getting the salah done as a tick box exercise and then walking off without any hope of any change afterwards. Let us understand the real maqsad of fasting, which is to bring about God consciousness, to bring about taqwa. And God consciousness is something to be acted upon and something to be internalized in our lives, not only focused in the month of Ramadan, but throughout our lives. And this is the month to make those changes. This is the month to act. This is the month where we train our bodies, we train our minds, we train our souls such that we have a full month of training whereby the actual enemy is locked up. So actual shayateen are locked up. And now we're training with that spiritual boost, whereby naturally we feel that spiritual boost and that spiritual upliftment and push because the shayateen are locked up. Because of the month of Ramadan, we utilize this time taking on that elite package and we fast from everything which is not beneficial to us. We fast from everything that will destroy us. We fast from anything that, not even sins, anything that leads towards sin. We fast from anything that would lead us towards distractions. We take such a level of fast, such a level of precautionary fast, that we ensure that nothing can come our way in terms of sin in this month. If you could do that consecutively for the entire month of Ramadan, rest assured you'll see change after month of Ramadan. But if you stick to the basic package and you stick to just stay away from food and drink and so on and so forth, then perhaps you'll see benefit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one that forgives. He is one that accepts. He is the most merciful. He is the most gracious. But if we're taking on a basic package, expect basic reward. Expect basic outcome. And if you take on elite package, expect elite outcome. So I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to understand the true maqsad, the true purpose of fasting, the true purpose of fasting. I pray He gives us the tawfiq to understand that this is a month of changing habits, a month of changing lifestyles, a month whereby we have that opportunity to change our ways to become better people. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the tawfiq to act upon the good that has been said. Subhanakallah wa hamdik, la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
Qari Mizanur Rahman, Jazakallah Khair for those golden words of advice, mashallah. You summed up very, very well of why maybe some of us will be feeling devoured of spiritual upliftment and benefit from fasting. And you mentioned very, very clearly about the three packages of fasting. So again, I don't need to repeat anything, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the fasting of the elite and prayer of the elite and all the other acts of worship to do with that quality of ihsan, with itqan, with the best of excellence, so that we gain spiritual benefit as well as a reward in this world and the next life. Qari Mizanur Rahman, Jazakallah Khair once again for coming on board and giving us your precious time in the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the best of this world and the best of the next life, inshallah, you and all your family, inshallah. Jazakallah Khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.